SoundBreath module was created to first document my practices which I've learned of voluntarily body control, like increasing the body heat, decreasing the body heat, going without food for days, just through breath control. I try to document it with thermal camera in extreme conditions. This is not an abstract or an esoteric thing. It still works on the theory of Vedic sciences and Ayurveda to understand your dynamism with nature. Ayurveda composes of timeless algorithms which tells us that our entire system, or whatever we make sense of the world around us on an emotional level or on a physical level in terms of food, is called as rasa. These rasas are complete in themselves, which means that every human to be born, is born and will be born will have access to this, what we call as a neurohormonal enzymatic complexes. For example, when we eat food, certain amount of juices are secreted into our system, the brain secretes them. But what happens over a period of time, the place where we are born, the parents we are born to, the kind of food choices we pick up from them, you get only access to a certain form of enzymatic cocktail which may or may not be good for us, but we believe it is good for us because from birth we are trained like that. Ayurvedic algorithms do not make any religious or moral social connotations. They only act on expansiveness of one to many and many to one dynamism. So it tells us that you are born unhappy because it defines disease as unhappiness. The moment you are born, you are diseased, because the moment you start making sense of the linear world through a sense projection, depending upon our geographical conditions, the friends we make, the parents we are born to, we get access to a linear hormonal enzymatic complex which may or may not be healthy for us, and we start on that journey of unhappiness, validating ourselves, convincing ourselves that we were healthy but now we are diseased. Once we start understanding this, we need to get access to this entire hormonal enzymatic complex through various methods, and Ayurveda again provides timeless algorithms. On my part, because I like simplifying things, I like being independent, I like educating people to understand their dynamism with nature, I follow the algorithms of rasa. The rasa algorithm on an emotional level consists of 8 rasas which give an expanse of all neurohormonal enzymatic complexes which define our emotions, or the 6 rasas or taste, how we make sense of the physical world, and the concepts of tarpan, where how we treat a body which is unhealthy or not in dynamism with nature. When we say that if a body is emotionally imbalanced because it is get overwhelmed of one rasa which is not understanding, first we cut the stimulus through what we call as apatarpan, where we give it nothing so that it's searching for food, it is constant state of hunger. Then we provide it with what we want as nourishment, because now it is not in a state of distinguish between good and bad, it has no choice. So it accepts it and it starts creating its own dynamism, accessing all those hormonal enzymatic complexes which it never had access to. And this is done by balancing the rasas. I have got separate projects like whiskybaba.in, which taps into the astringent profile, bitter matrix, which taps into the tikta madur or the bittersweet complex through espresso. Whiskey Baba is through single malt whiskey. I have worked on them because I found these complexes which are not available to us from a general food, which generally comprises of sweet, sour, salty and spicy food, because these are lifestyle drink and we can imbibe them and we can also gain benefits from them provided we follow diet and discipline. But for certain people who are into practices, because these are hormonal complexes, this can also be accessed through breath. Because when we increase the heat of the body, decrease the heat of the body, go without food, digest food, we are actually getting access to these complexes. But this is a little bit more difficult because you have to follow a strict diet and discipline. You have to follow a strict awareness of your system to get voluntary control over the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. And the SoundBreath model was all about it. The SoundBreath module builds on the rasa theory. People who drink espresso and single malt whiskey have an understanding of these profiles. SoundBreath will help them go a step further. But those people who do not have understanding, SoundBreath requires lot of personal training and lot of one-to-one training to gather into it. SoundBreath program, primarily now I'm looking to document this and form a layer of understanding with all the other 3 projects of Bitter Matrix and whiskybaba.in. My Ayurveda works, where I treat patients with herbs which also follow the same complexes, to get an understanding of how independently we can control our system by expansion of our brain, which is a very non-linear process, and in that way maintain a dynamism with nature.